whispers in my head. What you gonna do? 선택의 기로에 왠지 견내려 해 쉽지 않아도 진실한
So right here we have the YouthForia pre-game setting spray. This is a dewy setting spray. And something that is pretty interesting, like what really intrigued me about this product, is that if you look closely at the product, you will see that the spray has a very slight pink tint to it. And the founder of YouthForia, she actually made it to be this way on purpose. She says that sometimes throughout the day, our skin can take on a dull green sort of color, which, you know, makes our skin look a little bit lifeless. She did use the concept of the color wheel when coming up with this idea for the setting spray, which I thought was honestly super cool. Essentially, this pink tint is simply going to help bring life back to your face. This is the YouthForia BYO blush. So this is a color changing blush oil, and the reason that it's color changing is because the product inside of the bottle is actually clear. Point is, it doesn't look pink like a blush, right? That's because this blush was made to change to the pH of your skin and therefore giving you your own personalized blush color. This is a blush oil, so with that, it is obviously as well a dewy finish, but after playing around with it a bit, I figured out that there is a way to slightly mattify this, but we'll get a little more into that throughout the rest of the video. If you look at the product inside of my container, it looks a little bit murky. It was not like that in the beginning. It was very much clear, but I guess just after using it so much, a bit of the foundation and products start to stick to the applicator and then goes back into the tube. So that is one thing that I will say I don't like, but I guess if you really think about it, it's just inevitably going to happen. This is the pre-game primer. So this is a primer that is meant to be used as a protective layer for your skin. It has ingredients that are supposed to be really good for your skin. This primer is made so that you can wear it alone. It's also perfect for enhancing the longevity of your foundation. It does come with a very cute pump on top. And I'm actually just going to put a tiny bit of this primer on the back of my hand so you guys can kind of see what it's like. I will say that I do feel like it leaves a very slight, dewy, kind of radiant finish on the skin. So for sure, if you're somebody who likes that dew and glow on your skin, this is something that you can wear underneath your foundation just to kind of add even more glow to it. I don't think it's a huge difference, but it is noticeable. This right here is what I was super excited to get my hands on. Initially, this is the only thing I was going to get, and then I just decided to go ahead and get like the whole shebang, right? This is the YouthForia Date Night Foundation. I am in the shade 330 medium. So this foundation is essentially supposed to be a foundation that is so good for your skin that you can sleep in it, you guys. The founder of YouthForia says that this is foundation you can sleep in. That is crazy. This foundation is a dewy foundation. However, I have figured out and mastered a way to use this if you don't like that dewy skin. This foundation is made with 68% skincare products. That is just insane. I have been using these products for the past 3 weeks, so I think that by this point I can tell you guys how I like it, what I don't like, how it's worked for me, and that is what we're about to dive into right now. This is my face with no foundation or anything. The only thing that I have on are my eyebrows and my eyes. Right here you can just see the redness I have around my nose, a few acne scars that I have around my cheek. Just wanted you guys to see the before so that you can see how these products work on my skin. We're going to start in order, obviously. We're going to start with the pregame primer, and I'm only going to apply it to one side of my face so that you guys can see how the foundation lays on top of my skin with and without the primer. Alright, you guys, so let me go ahead and start off by saying that I am actually not a primer girly. I know some people will tell you that you always have to prime for your foundations. I'm here to tell you that that is not true. For those of you who don't know, I'm a professional makeup artist, and I can tell you from experience on myself and on others that the foundation just lays so much better without primer in most cases. I'm just saying that more often than not, you don't need it. So with that being said, I went into this not really having any high expectations for the primer, but to my surprise, it actually felt very nice on the skin. I would say that I recommend this if you're someone who just feels like you have to have primer. I would recommend this one. I feel like it just felt very nice on my face. The texture was really nice. My foundation went on very smooth, but even on the side of my face that didn't have the primer, my foundation still went on very smooth. This primer, I feel like it was very slippery, but at the same time, it did leave a slight tacky feeling on my skin. I still felt overall, however, that my foundation looked better on the side that didn't have primer. I found that on the side of my face where I did use primer, especially on my smile line, it would crease a bit. So, you know, at the end of everything, I still prefer no primer. I love my foundation straight on my face, no primer. I just feel like that gives such a more flawless finish. But again, if you're someone who does love primer, I would recommend this for you. First off, let me just say that this foundation goes such a long way. Like that tiny little amount that I grabbed, just watch. You're about to see how much it does and how much it covers. It's said to be a medium coverage foundation, but I honestly think that it's almost a full coverage foundation. You can still see my acne scars peeking through a bit because obviously it's medium coverage, not full, but I think that for the most part it just does such a good job of covering everything. I mean, look at how it's covering up all the redness, all the unevenness. It makes such a huge difference. You can already tell on the side of my face where I just applied that small amount, it just looks so good. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That looks amazing. And then this is the side that doesn't have anything on. Big difference. So I'm just grabbing a little bit more, and this time I'm applying it to the side that does have primer. So I just want to say, okay, this foundation is meant to be dewy, like I've said 1,000 times, but I am not really here for the dewy look because I find that my face becomes very oily. So I'm gonna show you guys what I do so that I can still wear this foundation and not look like a grease ball. One thing that I will say about dewy foundations is that they're not very transfer proof, and I've just noticed, like, this just goes for any sort of dewy foundation, whether it's cream or liquid, they're not very transfer proof. So I do find that after wearing this for a really long day, if my face has been rubbing on a lot of things, or if I didn't take the time to really set it properly, I do have some of the foundation rub off in some areas, but honestly I just kind of expect that because typically matte foundations are the ones that are going to cling a little bit more to your skin because they dry down all the way, you know. But with dewy foundations, I think you just really have to keep in mind that if you're someone like me who has a lot of acne scarring and you really want to cover that up, just keep in mind that it's more than likely going to be rubbing off throughout the day, so you'll probably have a little bit more of those scars peeking through, as opposed to someone who maybe has more clear skin where it wouldn't really make much of a difference. I've been using this foundation as my everyday foundation pretty much since I got it, and I find myself honestly reaching for this foundation a lot. As far as any changes in my skin, I do recall that like the very first week that I started using this foundation and the primer and everything, I think I woke up like the next day or 2 days after using these products. I woke up in the morning and I did notice that my nose was so smooth, because I used to have little bumps on my nose, and it just my nose felt so soft and smooth, and I didn't see those bumps anymore. Now that I think of it, ever since I started using the YouthForia foundation, I haven't really broken out on my face really at all. Maybe I've had like a few hormonal breakouts or something like that, but I haven't really broken out. However, I recently did use my NARS foundation again. A few days after that, I started breaking out so bad. I mean, literally, I'm wearing like 4 pimple patches on my face as we speak. So I would say those would be 2 very obvious things that I've noticed as far as it helping me with my skin. So I do believe that the skincare ingredients that are said to be in these products are good for you, and I do believe that they have helped me. I just love this foundation so much, and I'm so glad I got it. And I am absolutely in love with this blush as well. I was so worried that this blush would be too dewy for me or too oily, but it's not like that at all. I love that it gives my skin such a beautiful glow, but I can also adjust it and mattify it. It stays on throughout the day so well, and it blends so nicely, as you're about to see right now. I'm just using this fluffy little brush from BH Cosmetics, and I'm just blending that sucker out. I've noticed that it turns into like this bubblegum sort of pink on almost everybody's skin tone. I know it's meant to adjust to the pH of your skin, but at least from what I've been able to tell, it does adjust to your skin, but it still just turns into like a bubbly gum kind of natural blush. But it's so pretty, and you can actually use this blush oil on your lips as well, which I have done a few times before, and it is pretty hydrating actually. Obviously it's not like a lip balm or anything like that, because it's meant to go on your face, but there's been times when my lips are so dry and I apply a little bit of this with my fingers, and it just gives me a nice glow on the lips, a nice subtle pink, and it also just hydrates it after it sinks into my skin a while. Do you see how beautiful this is? It's so pretty. My 2 favorite products are definitely, without a doubt, the foundation and the blush, and it just makes me feel so good knowing that they're good for my skin. So I've been telling you guys, I'm gonna show y'all how I mattify this to my liking. It's very simple. You can take any brush. I'm just taking this one today. I'm actually going to be using my One Size translucent setting powder. You can really use any powder that you like. You can use a pressed powder, but depending on how oily you get, that'll help you figure out what powder you want to use. I'm basically gonna set my whole face, but this is the thing. I'm going to really focus on the areas where I just don't want them to look oily. For example, I'm starting at the center of my cheeks right here, my T-zone, my nose, and my chin. My nose is what gets the most oily out of all, and then my forehead right here. And you guys can already tell it's making such a huge difference. So that's basically where I apply most of my powder on, and then obviously I'm going to be setting under my eyes because I don't want any creasing. Just on the rest of my face, I'm not putting as much powder as I did on my main areas. So I look so funny when I blend out the creases underneath my eyes, because you guys, I I have so many lines underneath my eyes. I've always had fine lines underneath my eyes, and so I literally have to squint my eyes in order to blend it out. So yeah, I look hilarious, but I'm just gonna blend that out and set underneath my eyes. And yeah, you guys, so that's basically it. It's so simple. Just using some powder to mattify this makes such a huge difference. And as you could tell, yes, I did go over the blush with a little bit of the setting powder, and it still looks amazing. I just went over it with the tiniest bit so that I still have that glow. And you guys, from my experience, this blush will last me all day, especially when I do set it with the setting powder. It still looks good. It doesn't dull it down, and I love that so much. I'm just going to be honest, personally, I didn't see anything very special about the YouthForia setting spray. The only thing about it is that it actually adds more dewiness to everything. On top of my one size powder, the setting spray, since it's dewy and the powder is matte, it kind of does leave just the tiniest amount of like little dots on my face, as you can see, just very tiny, but it just kind of dried down like that a little bit. I didn't really see the pink tint make a huge noticeable difference on my skin. Guys, I was in a rush when I was filming this part of the video. I did not get a chance to really show off the whole look as I wanted to, but this is just a short clip of the completed look. Y'all, I love how this turned out. I hope this video was helpful to you. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.
Whispers in my head,